I should, once everybody joins, then talk a little bit. But long story short, I'm doing E, increment, decrement. It should take me, well, it should take me around 1 hour. Is it where you left off last time? Yeah, I did ABCD and I didn't touch E. So we are just continuing what we started 1 week ago. You should see link in the chat. Well, I can copy paste now as well. Here you go. What's going on? Hi, Vahan, Davut, and Keklax. Hi. Okay, let's read this. Marin came up with the following problem, blah, blah. However, during the preparation, too many unexpected solutions were found, so Marin changed the problem into the following. Well, let's read the first version because maybe it's helpful. How did the Polish competition go? It's a 1 week long competition, so it's still going on. Every day there are new problems, and so far I'm doing fine because Monday and Tuesday is easy. On weekend there will be the hardest problems, so then I will not be able to stream. All right, integer sequence A, initially zeros. Do this in any order. Replace AI with, increase AI by X. Oh, increase or decrease by 1. And for the cost of C, you can decrease or increase interval by 1. You need to reach that. Too many unexpected solutions were found, so Marin changed the problem into the following. We will need to first maybe think about this initial problem. In that one, increase by 1, decrease by 1, or increase, decrease the whole segment, but that has extra cost. In particular, if the extra cost is greater than n, then we never do those operations, so only the sum of absolute values matters. What's the second problem, the actual problem? Facebook Hacker Cup Finals video? I think it should be today, in a few hours. Can you link the problems of Polish Olympiad? It isn't Polish Olympiad, but you can find Polish Olympiad online. Check the name of your Discord server. I'm the one who sets the Discord server name. You're given a lot of sequences. This technique already was used several contests ago. It was the same thing where you're given an array and choose one element from the first row, choose one from the second row, and so on and so on. And yeah. that was the problem. Right, let's try to solve the first version in any way. And then try to apply it to the second version. Maybe it will be better to move backwards. This is problem E. If you have 7, 4, 5, 3, minus 2, and 5. And there is some cost C equal to, let's say, 2. Is it positive? Why it doesn't work? Yeah, C is from 1 to n, right? If this is the input for the first problem, then a lot of times I will choose this interval and I will decrease it by 1. Maybe I will do it 4 times. Minus 4 with the cost of twice 4. Then new sequence will be, after this change, will be 3, 0, 1, minus 1, minus 2, 5. I changed this down because this one needs a change anyway. Oh, but I need to pay for that. This cost is 2. Maybe I should solve for C equal to 1. For C equal to 1, then prefix sums matter, they matter a lot. Let's compute prefix sums array of this. 11, 16, 19, 17, and 22. When you increase all numbers in some interval by a constant, it's nice, the prefix sums behave nicely. Because what happens? Do they? Actually, no. Something else. I think I should treat those as prefix sums of something. So I should here write down difference between every 2 consecutive values. Plus 1, minus 2, minus 5, and plus 7 from minus 2 to 5. This is sequence of differences of this starting array. This is A. This is differences. And what are operations now? If I increase one value, let's say this one, it would change this by 1 and this by minus 1. I wonder what my operations do for this sequence of differences. And if I do this for an interval, it's almost the same, it's just that I do, let's say, this plus 1 and here minus 1 with the cost of C. I can shift 1 unit in one side. If I do it by 1, the cost is 1. If I do this, for example, cost is 1. And if I shift a unit like that, the cost is C. This might be a flow problem. Maybe something greedy will work. Links to contest you're participating in. That's a Polish contest with Polish problems. That eventually maybe will be reused in some ICPC camp, so you shouldn't really look at it. What's up with all of you and name of Discord server? I'm aware of name of Discord server. Let's focus on the problem. I like this new interpretation. And the goal is to take this sequence of differences and to change it to a sequence of zeros. If C was 1, then the cost would be the same, and then again, it would be just about, let's say, the sum of positive values here. All right, the problem is that you're given a sequence and you need to change all its elements into zeros. There are two types of operations you can make. One is to modify one value by 1, down or up. This will cost you 1, let's say $1. Or you can choose an interval and you can increase all elements by 1 or decrease all elements in this interval by 1. The cost of that is C. Also, you can grab link from the description or the chat and you can read the full problem here. We're solving now the first part of the problem, the one described here. You can even pause the stream and read this yourself. N is up to 50. I already modified the problem to be just this. So I prefer to move this down away from other stuff. That's better. At every possible split point, I can investigate what's the sum of values here, what's the sum of values here, and then I will know how many units will flow between those two parts. What about this? If the first two values are of different signs, then I push a unit between them. This would eventually become 401 and so on. And now this needs to move more to the right. Maybe with small steps. Each single step costs 1. Will diff of zeros be enough? Because this will also give... Yeah, diff of zeros, Osmasian, I understand your question, but the first value, it comes from this first value in A minus 0. So yes, if I change this to all zeros, I will be fine. Because the first difference isn't between two first elements. It's between first element and imaginary 0 on the left. And indeed, I need to minimize the cost. What if this sequence of differences, it is for some time positive, maybe with zeros, and then it's negative. That should sum up to 0, so -2, -1. I think that's fine. A lot of units will flow through this border, and it's just about deciding which of them should go with one jump and which should make small steps. I think that it's best to make huge jumps when we use the cost C. This is of cost C, and we continue doing so as long as it's better than single steps. and so on. Eventually we'll stop this process, and everything else in some, middle of the array will move with single steps like that. Maybe this, because it was better to use yellow jumps of cost C instead. Those have cost 1. This is if the prefix of array is positive and then it's negative. How does it work for the whole sequence? Maybe this whole sequence has some positive values, then negative, positive, negative, and so on. What do I do now? I think those will be connected with a blue arrow, size 1. And then what? What code process ranks do you recommend Atcoder Grand Contest streams? And you can see yourself if you are able to keep up. If yes, then it's a good stream for you. I think that if this is too hard for you, then I think that Neil is streaming at the same time. Yeah, Absolvic with discussion of Atcoder regular contest. I don't know what he's doing exactly right now, but if you want something easier, then that stream will be better for you. Also, somebody is drilling in my building. Sorry about that. If values were very small, like 1, 0 and -1, I could use dp. Maybe I would know that pluses were combined with those minuses. Does it make any sense? Does it make any sense that this happens than that? Maybe it should be more like connect as many pluses with minuses with a small cost, and everything else will be yellow. This would be done like that as well. Maybe this is connected, maybe not. Can I greedily say that this goes, for example, to the left or to the right? Then actually in chat you can tag me if you have a question to me, but it better should be one message, not two. But I will mainly focus on the problem today, on the problem I'm solving. If I combine those, then in DP I would be just in this state, and I would say that those need to be handled with yellow arrows, and that's it. I cannot do DP here it will not be feasible for the second part of the problem, this kind of DP. Where DP of position would be the best score to handle prefix of that size, like up to this position, like this. I think I need to find a greedy solution, some better understanding of how to connect indices optimally. Let's remember that those every minus and every plus, it actually represents a number. This plus maybe means +5. This minus maybe is -2. So only 2 connections can be made here, and then there are 3 more pluses, 3 more +1s to be connected with other stuff. How can I get your streams of Codeforces easy problems? All my streams are stored in YouTube. But previous week and this week, I'm not doing Codeforces easy because of the lack of time on the weekend. Chat, any ideas? I'm solving this problem from Atcoder. Link is in the description. Or Google Atcoder increment decrement. The best people in the world solved it in around half an hour during a contest, so I'm not expecting to solve it in a few more minutes. Maybe I should first assume that everything is connected with yellow, and then I would think how much I can save with blue. Does it ever hurt if I see plus and minus next to each other? Does it ever hurt to say that they should be connected? Yes, if this is the case. Then actually, instead of that, I should connect it like this. If yellow cost is infinity, then this problem is solved by, as I tried earlier, by considering every split point and computing how many units will flow between left and right part. If every plus denotes +1 and minus is -1, then there are 2 units too many on the left. So there would be 2 blue edges, 2 blue edges would travel like that. That's the well-known solution to this problem. What about this? dp will depend on the number of elements that I remove. I have this sequence of pluses and minuses, and I need to connect them with blue, but I'm allowed to remove some. And those removed will be yellow. They will be connected with yellow. As I move from left to right, I have dp of position, and something like removed. If I remove 1 minus and 1 plus, that cancels. So this, let's say this is the number of removed pluses. If I remove minuses, then that will be negative. That's still fine. But the issue is that this can be billion. What are the values here? Yeah, the values are up to 1 billion. That's too much. I cannot have this dimension. If I did, though, would this be a correct solution? Maybe too slow, but is it correct? Am I participating in ICPC Huawei competition? No, I don't have time for that. I like participating in optimization contests, but they take so much time. And if you spend 20 hours on something and you're already, you are able to work for money in other places, then there's huge opportunity cost. If I spend 20 hours working on something else, I will get much more, maybe not much more, but I will get more money than the first price is worth. So, it's not 20 hours well spent. On the other hand, it's pleasant. If I had a lot of free time, I would treat it as hobby and I would participate. I prefer short contests. If I model this as a flow, what will happen? Let's say that all pluses get an edge like that with proper capacity from the source. Minuses move out to the sink. And what about edges between them? There are edges between neighbors with infinite capacity and cost of 1. And there are edges between faraway vertices with infinite capacity and cost of C. That should be it. I run max flow min cost, and the min cost is the answer. But this solution won't be possible for the other problem. They said, okay, this problem was too easy, and then actually you're given a lot of sequences. You need to choose one number from each. This way create sequence A. So also create this sequence of differences I'm working on. And run something on that. I cannot iterate over those, so I cannot run flow every time. This is why the whole time I'm trying to understand what greedy solution would do. Cost LRK, cost of making this all equal to K. So you want to do interval instead of prefix. Maybe. Okay, you don't want to work with this sequence of differences, but with something else. Just started your first job at Oracle yesterday as software engineer. Congrats, unpresented. Nice job. I get from time to time messages that somebody got a job thanks to my videos or content. I'm very happy about it. The goal is to help people. If we do DP on intervals, we'll have the same issue as going from left to right. If I am done with this interval. I don't see a possible way to move to the full version of a problem. Full version being choosing those single elements. I don't think any DP will be able to solve the hard version. And if that's not DP, then it must be greedy. I don't think what else. Analyzing the flow solution also makes sense, but that's really thinking what greedy would do. Similarly, I wouldn't be able to solve this problem. Let me write it down. Let's say, okay, easy problem is this. Given a sequence, find longest increasing subsequence in the given sequence. This is easy problem, and every competitive programmer knows how to do it. N square brute force DP or n log n faster DP. But what I don't know how to solve is, given the same format of input as if in this problem, so we are given some numbers and from them we create array A, is compute the sum over longest increasing subsequence length over all combinations of B of ij, just like in this problem. This DP cannot be used, at least I don't see how. And similarly to this thing, I don't see how any DP would translate here. So let's continue analyzing any greedy solution. Why is my Discord called Monogon Server Official? Because Monogon won the battle of contribution in Code Forces. He gets the server. Maybe also my YouTube channel. In the past, Discord also was, the Discord server was called Game Server Official for some time. Are you using a separate tablet or Wacom to draw into OneNote? I have a tablet, Wacom, and this is what I use for drawing. Quick look into Editorial, mainly because I'm in a hurry today. I don't have a lot of time. I want to see if this should be flow. Okay, I'm not looking. Control F, flow. No solutions. Control F, greedy. Okay, there is something greedy. In the middle there is a word greedy. I'm not looking at the screen, you shouldn't do. I actually expected a long PDF. Well, if there's word greedy, then I think let's get back to drawings. And let's try to find the greedy solution here. But you still have the owner role. Yes, that's only modification of a name of server, not really anything else. Maybe this counterexample was bad because the prefix sum was bad. We should not transfer any unit here. What about transferring a unit between consecutive plus and minus, but only if the prefix sum, but prefix sum is very stupid measure, because there might be more stuff on the left, might be more stuff on the right, and we don't know what will happen with those. Maybe some of those pluses will not be used, and only at the end they will be connected with yellow arrows. No, like that, with big cost C. No, prefix sum of this doesn't matter. But going from left to right, I believe it is correct to combine the first minus with the first plus. So this left connection is fine if the prefix was all minuses. Then this doesn't matter. There are minuses, then pluses. Minus, plus, and so on. I think that this is a good connection. This is good. This is good. Now, is this a good connection? If I don't know what is on the right, can I say that this blue is good? I hope so. Then can I say that this blue is good? Should I go from left to right and connect all neighbors, available neighbors, then go again, collect all things with this bigger distance, like 2 or 3. But every plus represents a positive value and minus negative value. What if this is -1, this is +3? Or the other way around maybe will be even trickier. This is -3, +1. There is plus, let's say 3 here, and so on. I have this connection once. Now I will try to get this. But what if there is -1 here, minus 4 here? I have this connection once, but there are 2 units left of U, 2 units left of U. I can connect it like this. But I can, so this is one possibility, but this is the other possibility. How do I decide between them? Maybe one of them is better because the other value has some alternative on that side. Like 4 maybe can be connected nicely with something on the left. -3 maybe can be connected nicely with something on the left. If I go from left to right, this something on the left will not be anymore in the same distance. But what about this distance +1? When I was referring to solving LIS, longest increasing subsequence in log n, did you mean the solution where you maintain various length sequences? Yeah, there are multiple, doesn't really matter. Did you participate in Code Forces Global? I didn't, but you can check that yourself. I don't see it. Let's move forward a little bit by looking at the editorial, but only in the prefix. Because consider how to solve the problem for a fixed sequence A. Assume we obtain P1 and so on just by using operation 2. What is P? I don't know what is P. Maybe they don't solve the problem backwards. Minimum cost needed here. First for each I. This, then let us consider the cost. Right? They split everything into two parts. In one, they just use operation 2. Okay, this is not how I thought about the problem. Let's try it. We have A1, A2, A3, A4, and so on. Let's say that with interval operations, so with yellow operations, we create out of this some sequence P1, P2, P3, P4. And then from this we make zeros. What's the answer in this case? We will try to choose this sequence, the middle sequence, to minimize the answer. But the answer is, first we do yellow operations. So what is that? This is just the sum of absolute values. So sum over AI minus PI. Divided by 2. Because everything is counted twice. Like if this is 5 and this is 3, it means that I decrease by 2, but something else will increase by 2, so I shouldn't count this thing twice because it's just one operation. This multiplied by C. I think C was the cost of yellow operation. And then in this thing, if you can move to neighbors, it's the sum over prefix of P. Of absolute value of this prefix. Because that tells you for a split point how many units you need to transfer. These they have the same. This is the same. I don't know that they didn't have the same. Or maybe they move from zeros to that. But do they have prefix at all? And yeah, I also wanted to make this transformation to avoid division by 2. Oh, right. I'm working on my sequence of differences. This is what I'm doing. And this made everything more complicated. Forget about this. In the initial problem, we can modify an interval by +1 or -1, and we can change every value. So this is obvious part, because we increase every value and decrease it by 1. Still do this, and also we can express it as sum over I of, no, this is the only way we can do it. Yep. Those are simple blue operations. Then for those changes interval increased by 1, what do we do? If there is value 7 and then 3, then for sure 4 intervals must start or end here to make up the difference between them. Hence, the sum over I of the difference do I have it? 0, 7, 0. Yes, I do, because every interval has 2 ends. Okay. I think that this is what we're minimizing. This plus that. But they say it's better to transform the second equation, the second term. And indeed, we can focus on just increases as well, because every increase corresponds to some decrease. As well, this without a half now, it will be sum over max of 0 and this. Could also say pi minus pi plus 1. Now we avoid double counting. Is it the same now? Here we agree. Oh, this is multiplied by C, because those are yellow operations. This was also C here. But they don't say anything about this half. Oh yeah, because why half? That's stupid. Just every difference we need to make up for. Yeah, sure. There is no half. And now. Does this help? Given sequence A, I need to choose sequence P to minimize this sum. If values A were small, then sure, because I would just need to remember the last value, pi, and it would be dp dp of I and pi, what value pi I chose. It's not like that though. If I choose pi equal to ai, then this is 0, but this might be big. So that's the issue. Maybe I should maintain piecewise linear function. I'm participating in Couchchef December long challenge. I know how to solve the problem, but don't know how to print. Well, what can I tell you? If you don't know how to solve a problem fully, then you can wait for the contest to end, and then read the editorial, read codes by others. Codeforce's 10-day challenge isn't for you to discuss something with others. It is a nice opportunity to think a lot on some problem, but it isn't good for learning new stuff by asking others for help. You're on your own, but after the contest, then you have access to all the editorials and solutions. If you want to solve problems from Couchchef Long Challenge and be able to ask questions, then solve problems from previous months. Or anyway, because PI can be up to billion, this is no good. For sure, some new people are joining the stream from time to time, and yeah, I'm solving this problem, increment, decrement. Link is in the chat and description of YouTube video, but right now it boils down to this. Given sequence A, you need to choose sequence P to minimize this sum. You're also given C, this constant multiplier. That's the problem we need to solve. I already looked up some part of editorial, and now I know that this is indeed what we need to do. No, now minus is nicer. iPhone? What is this question? Samsung? Logitech? I also appreciate 2 question marks instead of 1. I'm looking dead? No offense. Maybe I'm just tired, I don't know. You mean that my skin looks unhealthy, or that I'm tired? When does it make sense to increase PI by 1 or decrease it by 1? It can modify this value by 1. It can modify this by C, and also it can do the same for the next element. When we will choose PI plus 1, the fact that we chose different PI can change this by C. If somebody told us, if somebody predicted the next P, let's say that P5 is 10, P6 is 13. So if we choose here 17, that's very bad, because we have this 7, the difference of 7 from PI to PI plus 1. Oh no, I mean, wait. I mean that, well, actually this DP just remove. Let's say that P5 is 10. P7 is 13. Somebody told us what is the next P, and now I'm choosing P6. I think that 17 can never be optimal. Moving it down to 13, every step will save us C. And C is greater or equal 1. So this is bad. Also, for the same reason, 7 is bad. It's better to bring it closer to 13. But if P6 belongs to interval from 10 to 13, then it doesn't matter what is its value exactly. So in that interval, we choose AI. We choose 10, 13, or exactly AI. I think that this is proof that every PI will be equal to one of initial AIs. So claim or lemma PI, every PI, this is how you write it, for every I, PI is equal ij for some j. So it should be, actually it should say for every I there exists j such that this is true. I will just say for some j. If that's the case, then actually my DP is good enough, because I had DP of I and PI, but now I know that PI actually can be only values from the input, from those n values given to me. And is 50 not 60, so meet in the middle? I mean, sometimes 50 is good for meet in the middle, because 10 to 25th power is good enough. But I don't think you can always just say meet in the middle if n is up to 50. Not look at editorial again, else girlfriend reveal. Yeah, that's how that is called. If somebody makes demands, you know, without anything, offering anything, is that called terrorism? Are you a terrorist if you tell me do this or else? I don't remember a proper word in English. Can we do even better? Oh, and one more thing. What if this value is greater than the next one? What if P5 is 13 and P7 is 10? Then, if we have something smaller than 10 here, that's bad. If we have something greater than 13, that's bad. And so again, this should be in interval 10 to 13. And that doesn't matter. So it will be 10 or 13 or exactly AI. Actually, does it matter if it's 10 or 13? Well, it matters. I want the value closer to I. So the sequence PI will always be equal values in a row, and then something exactly equal to AI. Is that true? What about the first value? I think that we treat AI for 0 as 0. Maybe this will be more like dp of I, and then in dp iterate over j, the next position where something will change, and assume that we have i's up to that moment. dpi means best solution for prefix if on position I we have pi equal to AI. No, wait. This is 10 and 13. Let's say that we have some increasing sequence of p's. Then, if something is not equal to a, it will get to closer end of this interval. But this must be some A, some J. I'm not sure if this dp is good enough. Maybe I actually takes value of some future aj. Is that possible? Maybe. If some interval has equal values pi, then it must be equal to median of this interval. Yeah, so I can... For sure that's possible dp of ij. Do you feel it's optimal to spend more than 2 days on a single problem in marathon contest if I don't care about rating? Participate in marathon contest only if you want to get better at marathon problems. Don't assume that it's best for you to practice for competitive programming. Marathon/optimization problems are different. Right. 1 hour passed already, so I want again a small push. To solve this naively with dp, we can consider the following dp of j. The mean cost when the first I elements have been set and pi equal to j. Okay, they have my dp. Alright, then let's continue. Yeah, so this is dp of I. This pi, when I wrote pi here, I didn't yet know that pi is equal to some aj. But it will be this, and this means that everything up to I is done, and pi is equal aj. And possibly j is greater than I. Some interpretation of that is that every interval of equal values p is set to the median of values a in this interval. Median minimizes this sum of distances. Then that's n square states and n cubic transitions. Maybe transitions can be done faster, I don't care. But still, how to move from any dp to solution for the full sequence B? What is marathon problem? Those are optimization contests lasting for more than 2 or 3 hours, usually many days. Example of that is Topcoder marathon. You can Google Topcoder marathon and you'll find some information about it. Editorial, tell me how to move to B. Let us observe dpi for fixed I. Convex polyline. Okay, there is something about piecewise piecewise linear function or something like that. I'm cleaning a little bit. All right. Do you see everything? Yes, now you see everything. For fixed I, depending on value pi, I investigate the value of dp. Well, the cost so far. If I'm between two values, so that's some aj and ak, then for sure one of them is just worse than the other. And I think that in that part, the function will look like this, or it will look like that. Maybe also this will be our cost, possibly. Likely, what is true is that the function looks like this, but such claims are often very hard to prove. And even if this is the case, then what? Hi Ericto, is it necessary to spend $330 on competitive programming? No, my answer is this. You need to spend at least $400. What are you asking about? Is it some particular course that you're referring to? No. College in USA costs thousands of dollars, so sometimes even magnitude of that money is just much bigger. It's very hard to compare anything. It's very hard to say, is it worth spending, even $5,000 on some kind of education? I spent in my life likely around 10,000 hours on competitive programming. So 10,000 hours for a programmer, that's a worth of, I don't know, $200,000 at least. The time also has some cost, opportunity cost and just maybe literal cost. So if I spend 10,000 hours on that, it's some kind of investment, but I could instead of that work and earn hundreds of thousands of dollars. I need to keep looking at editorial. I don't know how to continue from this. 10,000 hours is at least $500 in electricity. Maybe. That sounds crazy, but maybe it's true. Right? Well, they say that they said that this is true, we need to maintain it, so let's try to do it. I didn't see anything new from editorial. Yes, I see YouTube chat. And Twitch. All right, now we have new I. What comes with new I? Well, there are two things. One is this. Okay, we have this multiplied by C, and we have this. then what? Looking only here, how would that modify this function? Given new pi, what's the new value of dp? If new pi is here, then we don't have any more cost because of that. Then, so same for here. Let's say this is interval with minimum. Then as long as this slope is exactly 1, nothing changes. And then if we are here, it's better to use this difference to pi over there. So if only this was an equation, then new function would look like this, with slope +1 and +1, 45 degrees in both directions. But that is not the case. We have also here this part. What is it now? Still, this is good minimum. Then, as long as slope is 1 in both directions, we are fine. 45 degrees. And then there is something strange going on. If we go to the left, then this cost is 0 because it's maximized with 0. So it's just this. This is slope of 45 degrees to the left. What about to the right? At every point we can either use this current point, or we can use something from before, plus c plus 1. So let's make a new drawing. If this was the previous function, then I claim that new function will be yellow thing. This, that, and now draw this. Okay, as long as the slope is smaller than c plus 1, then actually we keep taking the previous thing. So this, and from that, slope of c plus 1. That, maybe let's make it bold. Did I make it? Yeah. I think it's this. Just left part is cut down to slope of 1, right part is cut down to slope of c plus 1. Maybe then it's true that the only existing slopes are, well, here it's -1, 0, +1. I don't know how we would get this. Oh, okay. I ignored AI. I assume that this is P of previous I. Right, that's wrong. Let's try again. Right. Let's say that new AI is here. What's then? New bigger drawing. What then? I want this more to the left. I keep hitting Ctrl Z too many times. If I want to be here, exactly here, then either I take this value or I take minimum looking to this direction. The new P, it's okay if you're smaller than that. I think we'll then take the minimum here, like we draw a tangent with 45 degrees, and that's the new function. No, because we are penalized. Right. If I want to get exactly here, it's a bit hard to think about this. If previous PI was here, then that allows me, what does it allow me? Well, the new one would be here because that's the difference of those two. That's a lot. If I want to end up on the left, the ghost here is big, or we'll limit it by this. If you want to end up here, it is allowed to just use this value. It's also allowed to use this value, and the distance from here, let's try to draw that. By using this P, we are good. I think that this is possible. If previous P was here at the very minimum of the whole function, then we can use it. And I'm adding to the score the distance from me to AI. And AI is here. So this tells me that this thing is possible, at least up to that moment. After that, we have a slope of c+1. Okay, that's possible, but maybe we should minimize it with something else. This slope happened, but instead we can use this value. So something like that, cast it here. I suspect that it will have the same shape. Will it? Maybe shifted by extra like that. Yeah. So we take everything from here to the right, we redraw it here, but adding 1 to the slope. Something like that. And if this is indeed the case, then we should be good. Also, the slope is at least that. So actually this is the function. I will now mark it again with green. That's the new function. From here to the right, I have this part copied and a bit rotated. I add 1 to the slope. That if AI is on the left from the minimum. Now the other possibility. If AI is here, then everything on the left likes to steal values from the right. I think that now we will find a tangent with 45 degrees, this thing, and you will be the best. That's because you can just say that we copy this part, we shift it with +1 slope by looking to the left, like that. But also we can just use this value. So it's minimized to that. This would mean taking this value. Then we only take care of the distance. Yep, I think that's good. And what about the right part? If you want to steal from the left, you have that extra cost of C+1. Okay, anyway, I can believe that this is all convex. But this problem overwhelms me. I'm going to just finish reading the editorial. Could you turn on use automatic captioning? I don't think that's some kind of setting that I can turn on or off. Why editorials in hard problems have some notes and not clear explanation? Each problem has explanation suitable for people on that level. I don't want this editorial to be 10 pages long with all the details. There's almost a rule of thumb that every editorial should have similar length. Otherwise, you will end up reading 20 pages. And yes, Atcoder problems are very difficult, and often, even after seeing the editorial, I need to think for a lot of time to understand it. And because of my other responsibilities, I think I will not implement this today. I will try to understand it, and that's it. I will not implement. Hi, Rex Bellum. Let S be a multiset which contains C instances of 0. Why C? Suppose that extra cost. Add 2 instances of AI to S. Take out the smallest element in S and subtract this value. What? I guess that S contains those points where the slopes are modified. C instances of 0. That just simulates a slope of size C. If somebody tells you that you start at point 0, 0, you look to the right, and by default you move to the right, but from time to time there can be information, oh, here at position x equal to 4, you need to increase the slope by +1. Then maybe at position x equal to... They at least did the second part. This means increase the slope at position AI by +2. I don't know about that. Take out the smallest element in S. Delete the greatest element in S. Why? This is like leftmost and rightmost. I think I understand that. Because of this -1. Because we added -1, I wonder this cancels with what +1. If somebody tells me that, well, here I have -1 and only here I have +1, then for some time the function decreases. Let's say like this. Then it starts being constant. So instead, can I multi-mark here? I cannot. Maybe let's do it a bit differently. Instead, I shift this whole thing up. I do this. I increase that by a node, and I assume that it's like this, but I know that I went down by that distance, this distance d, and d is just equal to this position. Maybe this is what happened. And I care about minimum, so minimum can never be here, I think. That's a bit difficult to understand. The greatest element in S. Why? Because on the right from it, the function only increases. Maybe that's why. Actually, I don't see how that can change anything. If I skip this, won't the other operations remain the same? At every moment, why initially answer is the sum of AIs? That's what happens if all p's are equal to 0. Then this part is equal to the sum of AI. Apparently we investigate how much this changes after that. So the sum decreases. What we should add to our function is something like this. Where this is AI. Hence, we add 2 plus 1s here. There is -1 here, but it cancels with something. It cancels with the first +1. If the function was so far this, then those two cancels, but we managed to already decrease by this much. Can it happen though that the minimum is earlier? I think that answer is always the current minimum. This is function minimum. Minimum of function that we keep maintaining. Alright. right? If this started constant like this, then indeed this is the new minimum. But I think that the function should look like this. Oh, but it does. Okay. The current function is, let's say, this. And now if we add to this our new thing coming from the absolute difference of AI and PI, this thing that this is the first moment with +1, it will cancel with this -1, but the minimum won't change but this distance. Are we programming vectors? No, we are doing something very complicated related to algorithms. And we are very deep down the logic, the solution. There should be a discuss button, right? They used to have one for the discussion in code forces. Nobody here described anything about E? Nope. So I'm still not even thinking about this last paragraph of the solution. I just want to understand this. I could implement that. I could implement this and check that it's indeed correct. But I want to understand why it's correct. Let's have the goal for today to understand this, and that will be the end of the stream. The smallest element in S. Maybe it does make sense. The fact that what happens from simultaneously removing the fact that we start with -1 and we here have +1. What happens exactly is this function. Why everything I'm drawing so, like, tilted? Let's make a proper line. I think I have too many drawings in my OneNote and it starts lagging because Ctrl-Z works only after some time. This is -1 +1. Everything here decreased by exactly that distance. But what about the prefix? Well, the prefix cannot be minimum because this was the leftmost +1. So we still don't increased before that. All right. When we deal with this white function, what happens is, so this doesn't happen. This function never goes down, does it? But we cancel that, cancel this. Everything to the right just shifts down by the distance. And then we have +2 from here. Okay, I see some merit here. And then let's say that I understand those two parts. Delete the greatest element in S. I have no idea why we would do it. Does it hurt that we have this greatest element? We never tried to access something from the middle. Add two instances, take out the smallest element. Can I speak Polish on the chat? No, not really. Hi, Andre. Well, if all of that is indeed true, then answer starts like this. Then we care about it being the smallest element. So basically how many times it will be subtracted. That means in the prefix, the number of added smaller elements doesn't exceed something. Yeah, the number of instances smaller than bij. I see how to implement it. The implementation is easy if we believe that. And I still claim that this doesn't matter. We don't use it here. We don't use it in this solution. I don't know what's the point. Maybe later I will ask one of my friends who solved the problem. And this will be dp of what? We have this two-dimensional array for every element. The number of possibilities such that many smaller elements were taken. I think it will be for every element in the grid, in the input, so for I, for j. Then go through the whole matrix and do dp of a row and the number of smaller elements. Then we go through a new row, and either it's too small or not. Oh, there are just two types. In every row we would pre-compute the number of smaller elements than you and bigger than you, because we, after doing this, we actually have we focus on number, we focus on number x equal to aij or bij. B is the two-dimensional array from the input. And then here I care about values smaller or not smaller than x. And that would be n fourth, where n is size of the grid, and let's say that both sizes are the same. Yep. What is m? Do they mean C? Maybe. That would make sense. If they mean C. But then it's n to third power times k. Maybe. With how many smaller we start? This starts with value exactly C. This is row square, number of columns. This is limited by n as well, the number of values. All right, then I agree. I agree with the complexity. Right, but as I said, I'm not implementing this today. Anyway, I would like to first understand exactly this, because I'm not sure about this prefix thing. What if minimum is in the left part of the graph? I think I get it. Maybe I will go through some more examples, like just drawing them on paper, and then we'll implement it. Anyway, that's some hard problem, not a new thing in Atcoder. All right. Is 60 words per minute okay? Yes, of course. Speed in programming contests is mainly about speed of thinking and your skills, not typing speed. All right, I need to do other things, so no implementation today. Thank you for watching. Likely on Thursday, so 2 days from now, there will be a short coding interview stream, maybe just 1 hour long, and nothing more this week. Sorry about that. Join the Discord server if you want to hang out with me or just have suggestions or anything. All right, thank you for watching. Bye. Looking forward to next stream on this. Thanks, amusing. Yep. See ya.